Here is a Thumbelina short story. Once upon a time, in a little house deep within an apple orchard, lived a tiny girl who was only an inch tall. She had hair like spun gold, eyes as blue as the summer sky, and lips as red as ripe strawberries. She lived with her mother, a beautiful woman who was so vain that she never left the house for fear of wrinkles. And because their home was hidden from everyone, no one knew the tiny girl existed. But she didn't mind being alone. She loved to play with her cat Mittens, who would let her comb its fur with a blade of grass and pretend it was a horse, or pull its tail like a rope, or make it walk like a dog. But even though the little girl was happy playing with her cat, she was also curious about the world outside. Every day she would stand on a stool and peer through the window, watching the birds fly by, the butterflies flutter, and the rabbits hop. One day, while playing by the window, a butterfly flew in. It had wings like stained glass and an abdomen like a tiny golden coin. Startled, the little girl screamed and fell off the stool. When the butterfly saw how small she was, it said, "Why are you hiding? Aren't you tired of living in this dark house?" The little girl thought about it. "I do like playing with Mittens, but I wish I could see what's outside, really see it. How far away does the forest begin? Can you take me to see it?" The butterfly agreed. It landed on the little girl's finger and asked her to hold on tight. Then they flew out the window and into the world beyond. At first, the little girl gasped at all the bright colors and moving shapes. But then she started to cry. As they flew higher, everything became blurry. "I can't see anything," she cried. And the butterfly replied, "You are too small. If you want to see the world, you need to be bigger." The little girl thought about this and asked the butterfly to take her back home. She felt too small to explore the big world on her own. When she told her mother about her adventure, her mother just laughed and said, "Oh, my silly child, you are too little to go exploring. You should be grateful you have me to take care of you." The little girl sighed. She knew her mother was right, but she still wanted to see more of the world. So she went back to her room and got to work making a plan. She took some flower petals, a twig, some leaves, a spider web, and some berries and used them to build a boat. Then she filled it with water from the bird bath and sailed it across the floor. She pretended the boat was flying through the air like a hot air balloon, and although she couldn't see very far, she felt as if she were exploring a whole new world. A few days later, she tried something else. She stood on top of the refrigerator and stretched out her arms like wings. "Fly, Thumbelina, fly!" she shouted. And for a moment she felt like she could fly, like she was soaring through the clouds. But then she lost her balance and fell onto a pile of cushions. The little girl was sad. She wanted to be bigger so she could see more of the world, but she couldn't change her size. Just when she was about to give up, she remembered the butterfly. Maybe it could help her. So she went back to the window and waited for the butterfly to return. When it finally flew in, she asked it, "Can you take me to see the field of flowers outside? I want to see the bluebells blooming." The butterfly replied, "You are too little. You won't be able to see over the grass." The little girl thought for a moment. "Then maybe I could ride on your back." The butterfly laughed and said, "You're too heavy for me. I'm just a common blue butterfly." The little girl's heart sank. She didn't want to bother the butterfly anymore. She let it go and returned to her room. She threw herself onto her bed and cried. She felt so tiny and insignificant. As she cried, she noticed a small ladybug crawling on her blanket. "I wish I could be as free as you," she told the ladybug. "I wish I could fly around and see the world from above." The ladybug tilted its head and asked, "Why don't you just close your eyes and imagine you're flying?" The little girl stopped crying and looked at the ladybug. "Do you really think I could do that?" The ladybug smiled and said, "Of course you can. Just believe you can fly and you will." The little girl thought about what the ladybug had said. Maybe she didn't need to be bigger to see the world. Maybe she could just use her imagination. So she closed her eyes, took a deep breath, and imagined she was a bird. She flapped her arms and soared through the air. She flew over the forest and the mountains, past the clouds and the stars. She flew until she could see the entire world below her. And when she opened her eyes, she felt like she had seen everything. From that day on, the little girl played with her cat and explored her room. But now she also knew she could explore the world with her imagination. She would lie on her back and look up at the clouds, and she could see anything she wanted. Sometimes she saw fluffy white sheep. Sometimes she saw scary monsters. Once, she even saw an enormous castle made of spun sugar and gumdrops. And she knew that even though she was tiny, she could do anything she set her mind to. Now, every time you look up at the clouds, remember the little girl who was too small to explore the world. But with the help of a ladybug, she learned that she could do anything if she just believed she could. The end. This has been a Peter Pan short story. If you liked this story, be sure to follow for more. Now check out these other stories, and now check out these other stories.